What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture with the next video installment to my top 100 key comics to invest in for under $100. Today, we are counting down 50 through 41. Can you believe that we are halfway there? All right, guys, if you haven't watched any of the other videos that we did counting down this list, you have to go check those out. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, please take some time to do so. Hit the notification bell so you will get the notifications on the next videos as we count down to the top 10. I can't wait to get there. So this is the criteria, like I've said in every video. As we count down, as we get lower and lower, the books keep getting hotter and hotter. We're looking at increases in value over the last 5 years. So really excited to go over these next 10 books. Before we do that though, guys, I gotta give another big shout out to A1 Comics. I know it's not A1 Wednesday, I know it's Sunday, but I have to give a shout out to A1 Comics because we are closing in, on the end of February, and I just had to make another announcement about their 50% off DC Super Title sale that's going on until the end of the month. And of course, if you go to any 3 of their locations, Folsom, Roseville, and Sacramento, and you mention that I sent you at the register, they will give you an extra 5% off. So again, if you're in the Northern California area, I highly recommend going and checking them out and taking advantage of the sale. If you're not in the area, still check them out online, a-1comics.com. And of course, their information is below to their social media, especially on Instagram. They have live sales on Instagram every Wednesday and Friday night. They are massive. So, all right. With that being said, let's get into it. I can't wait. All right. Let's look at the 50th book on this list, and it's Spider-Woman #1. Spider-Woman #1. What a book. This book has gotten hot lately. This is the first solo ongoing series of Spider-Woman. Current CGC market value right now in a 9.6 is sitting at about $100. Now, again, like I say in every video, if there is a grade higher than what you see here, that means that those grades are going to be well over the $100 mark, all right? So, but this book, fair market value, sitting at about $100 for a 9.6. That's still very solid, especially since we know that something is going on with Spider-Woman in the MCU with Sony, but we don't know exactly what the details are or what Spider-Woman it might be yet. All right, but check this out. 5 years ago, fair market value in a 9.6 was sitting at around $60. That is a 67% increase in value. That is solid. Average raw sale sitting at around $24. And again, let me explain what average raw sale means. It means any raw book that's sold, no matter the grade, you're calculating all of those sale prices and dividing them by books sold, and then you're getting an average raw sale. So this number right here doesn't pertain to any particular grade, but it is a rough basis of some sort of middle ground, meaning you could get some type of grade for that average number. Again, let's look at this book. It's a Bronze Age book, so a $24 book is probably going to be sitting right around mid-grade. You probably have some lower grades being sold, being that it's an older book. So still a really good deal. I think this book has a lot of room to grow over time, and if we do get the announcement of a Spider-Woman film or TV show with details, then watch this book continue to grow for the short term. All right, let's move on to number 49. Green Lantern, number 85. Man, this book, okay, and I'm gonna break this down here. This is the infamous drug issue classic Neil Adams cover art. Adams and O'Neill team up, and what they did on this run, a lot of us know that it was truly groundbreaking, really set the stage for the Bronze Age. Look at this though, current CGC 4.5 fair market value, sitting right at about $95. And what have I said in my other videos? Look, I know that 4.5 may seem like a lower grade, and I know this is a top 100 for under $100. But look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This book in a 4.5 or lower for under $100, to me, is still an amazing deal for an amazing book. I am not going to sit here and promote that you need to collect near mint 9.8s. It's not how it is. If you want to go for that, fine. We know that really high grade books of this are really way out of the realm of this list. But this book continues to increase in value, and so does these books in mid-grade and lower grades. And I believe that that's going to continue to happen. Let's look at this, because right now a 4.5 sitting at 95 fair market value. 5 years ago it was sitting at about 57. That is still a 67% increase. That is huge. Average raw sale sitting at about $34. So you're probably looking at really low mid-grade for this book at that value. But again, look, for me, if it presents well, I'm buying it all day long. Now, again, before I get further into this list, don't ever buy any book that I talk about just because I'm talking about it. You got to have love for the book. You got to have love for the character. You got to be willing to take the risk if it's an investment, if you're wanting to speculate. All right? This is just my opinion, and I try to give you the facts as appropriately as I can. That's why you see the data here. You take it how you will and make the decisions that you want to make that make you happy. All right, moving on to 48. My dude, Amazing Spider-Man. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 136. This is the first appearance of Harry Osborn as Green Goblin. Beautiful cover. Look, I know we saw Harry become Green Goblin in 2 movie franchises at this point. Are we going to see that happen in the MCU? I don't know. But honestly, I don't care. Not every book needs to be valuable or needs to have movie speculation in order to be a hot book or a book that's going to continue to increase, right? Look at the numbers. Current CGC in an 8.0 fair market value, sitting at right around $100. 5 years ago, $60. Another 67% increase. Solid. Average raw sale sitting at about $51. Again, a 25-cent Bronze Age. You're definitely looking at probably a mid-grade book for about that price. I bought this book. I might send it into CGC this year. It's a higher grade, maybe around a very fine, and I think I paid under $40 for it. It was some years back. So again, like this book continues to increase in value, and I'm going to say that with a lot of Amazing Spider-Man books. You know, they're just, he's that character for Marvel. This is one of those runs, you know, and right now, I've been saying it for years now, Bronze Age books, there's so much there in Bronze Age books where you could get stuff for an amazing value right now that's not going to last long. And we've really seen that over the last year or so, where these Bronze Age books are really increasing and blowing people's minds to some extent. All right, we are moving on to 47. We got some more Spawn love. Look, this is Spawn number 2. It is the first appearance of Violator, second overall appearance of Spawn. You know, this isn't really seen much as a key. At least I don't think so in the scheme of things over its lifetime. I do believe that's been changing as of late. I know that we have Todd McFarlane talking with Jamie Foxx about playing Spawn. I don't know where they're at in that, or if anything is really signed in stone. But look, Spawn is a character that continues to get hot with the success of Todd McFarlane and the legend that is Todd McFarlane. And I think there are definitely Spawn books that have been undervalued for a while. I think this is one of them that, as you can see, we're going to look at the numbers, that continues to increase in value. Current CGC, 9.8. Fair market value sitting at around $85. 5 years ago, 51. Another 67% increase. Now, average raw sale sitting at about $13. This is a more modern book, so you're probably looking at, you know, higher grades even being able to be bought up for around $13, but not near mint. Again, this is my estimate. You know, you could probably find some nice fine plus to very fine books for around the $13 to $15 range. That's going to be my guess, but I look at this as a long-term investment. You know, as we get older and as time passes, these books from the 80s and the early 90s are going to get older as well. And regardless of what you all may think, oh, well, 90s books aren't going to be worth anything. Look at that, because X-Force number 1 just made the top 3 hot books in sales this last week. So, all right, we are moving on to number 46. Yes, Action Comics number 1 is on this list. All right, don't get confused. Don't get confused. This is the 50th anniversary reprint. And you may ask, Chris, you really have a reprint on your top 100? Yeah, because look at these numbers. Current CGC 9.6 fair market value sitting at about $93 for this book. 5 years ago, $55. That's a 69% increase, and an average raw sale sitting at about $56. This book came out in 1988 for its 50th year anniversary, and it's gaining value. Look. Obviously, Action Comics number 1 is probably not going to be on any list I ever do. And it's probably going to be a book that most of us watching are never going to own. This is a solid book that has such collectability still, in my opinion. I do believe there was one that was made before this. I think it was in the late 70s that they did a reprint of. But just for that 50 years of Superman, you know, it's getting noticed, and that's why the value continues to increase. So yeah, look, it's a reprint, but guess what? It's proving to be a sound investment. All right, we are moving on to number 45. And you guys know me, I'm a big Transformer fan, and this is Transformers number 1, first appearance of Transformers in a comic book. This book has been getting hot. You know, current CGC 8.0 fair market value sitting at about $90. 5 years ago, $51. That's a 76% increase in value. Average raw sale sitting about $39. So you're going to probably see higher grades. You know, this is a mid 80s book. I love Transformers. I have my issues. I have my issues with the film franchise and what Michael Bay did with the films. I really enjoyed the first one, but then after that, I'm not even going to get into it. That's for another rant, right? I enjoyed the Bumblebee film. I can't wait to see if they're going to continue from there or reboot the franchise with another director and another vision, because I think Transformers as a franchise deserve that. There's so much that could be done with them in live action, and it, just boggles my mind. All right, so again, Transformers, this is one of my Grail runs right here, and I love that this book is on this list and continues to be a sound investment. But with that being said, we are going to move on to number 44. We got Uncanny XMen, number 30, the first appearance of Dazzler. So, Dazzler, Bronze Age X-Men books, they hold their value. You know, it really, they were the team that kind of made the 70s, because we had all the big teams that were created in the 60s, like the Avengers and Fantastic Four. And then we also had, the solo acts of the main runs that came about in the 60s. But we know what happened with the X-Men, late into the 60s. And they just kind of, the run was dying off. It was in trouble of getting canceled. So they started just reprinting the original issues. And then, boom, introduced a new team. And that just sparked the new interest for the team. And I think that story of how that transpired has carried over to these books and the value that they hold. Dazzler is definitely a character that I feel can show up in the MCU once the X-Men are introduced. We shall see. I don't know. But again, it's not always about movie spec. Looking at the numbers, we got current CGC 8.0 fair market value sitting at around $106. So right above that $100 mark in an 8.0. But 5 years ago, sitting at $60, it's a 77% increase. Average raw sales sitting at about $56. Again, Bronze Age book, probably about a mid-grade value there, roughly. So, again, I think a lot of people are just going after these X-Men books right now. If my advice, and again, like I said, don't take everything I say with a grain of salt, but if you are questioning if you want to go after X-Men books, if you can find good deals for X-Men key books right now, I would have at it, because one, if any of these characters or any of these storylines or whatever the case may be, if they show up in the MCU, watch these books go through the roof. If it doesn't happen, look, you got a book that most likely, again, will have that long-term value to be able to bring you a return on your investment. And again, I've said this in past videos on these lists. Probably every book that's on this list has solid possibility of that long-term investment. So, all right, everyone, we got 3 more books today. I'm getting excited as we continue to count down. Next up is number 43, and man, this book, in my opinion, shouldn't even be on this list. It should be well above $100 mark. Like I said, that's just my opinion. This is Avengers Annual number 10, the first appearance of Rogue, but as many say, and I'm going to say it too, it's probably because of that cover. It's just not very eye appealing and attractive. I'd have to agree. Man, it's Rogue just got no love, man. I'm sorry, Rogue. Anyways, let's look at these numbers. Current CGC 8.5 fair market value, sitting at right at about $101. 5 years ago, $57. It's a 77% increase in value, with the average raw sitting at about $43. Kind of a, later Bronze Age, so you could probably maybe get a mid-grade, a slightly higher mid-grade. I don't know, because this book is picking up, and I always say this, fair market values are just an average of what these books are doing on the market, and it can change and fluctuate day to day, week to week. Here's the thing. I just talked about X-Men spec. This is one that I think is a no-brainer right now if you do not own this book and you want to speculate on X-Men stuff. This is probably, I don't want to say the number one X-Men spec, because you got big books to spec on too, but in terms of ones that are affordable, that have a real good chance of really kind of exponentially increasing in value when these characters are possibly introduced in the MCU, this is one of them that's at the top of that list. Absolutely. You know, if you're looking at a CGC 8.5 fair market value at about $100 right now, if Rogue gets introduced in the MCU, I expect that value to not only double, but possibly triple overnight. And again, that's just my humble opinion. I don't know for a fact, but it absolutely could. So I really hope we get Rogue in the MCU, and I hope she's done right, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I just don't think she was done justly in the Fox franchise, and we didn't get a proper origin story, and we have to see Rogue meet up with Carol Danvers, get her powers, and I just can't wait to see that happen. All right, Feige, trust in Feige. All right, 2 more books, guys. Moving on to number 42. Some more DC love. We got Omega Man number 3. This is the first appearance of Lobo. A bearded guy, if you're watching, I know you're loving this. I know you are loving this, because this is your guy. Lobo. Underrated still, shall we say? A current CGC 9.4 fair market value at $91. Are you freaking kidding me? That seems low. But look at this. 5 years ago, $51. What? That's a 78% increase in value. Are we finally giving Lobos the love that he deserves? Can we see Lobo in some live action? I would love it. All right, average raw sitting at about $47. Again, you know, you got early mid 80s book. You could get lucky. You can get lucky finding a decent higher grade maybe for a decent value. So I want to see this book continue to do well, and I absolutely want to see Warner Brothers do something right by this character in the near future. All right, guys, are we ready for the last book of this list and for today's video? Coming in at number 41, we got Web of Spider-Man number 1. Wow. So this book has really caught some heat. Now, what's key about it, right? I mean, it's just a number one of a new series. I'll tell you one thing. This series was amazing. Amazing. And I just think the writing behind all the Spider-Man series, spectacular and amazing during the 80s was done so well. But Spider-Man really ruled the 80s in my opinion. And this just has an amazing cover, and it's a book that continues to gain value as one of the more prominent number ones from its era. So that's why I have this book on this list. I mean, look, I bought a whole set of Web of Spider-Man, a whole lot. It was almost like the whole run. I think it was missing some issues here and there. Because there's about 120 something books in the Web of Spider-Man Volume 1 run. I think this lot had at least like 80, maybe 90 books. I bought it on eBay. On eBay. When was this? 15 years ago? Maybe about 15 years ago, maybe even longer than that. I bought it for under $100. So, and it included this book and like I said, most of the key books, and I know that there's not anything crazy major in this run, but it just goes to show you, I basically paid for that a large chunk of that run for what you can get this book at now for a CGC 9.6. Just this book alone, it's crazy. So you're looking at an average raw sale at about $10, and again, you're not going to find a probably very fine near mint for that price right now, but it is definitely a book that's still very affordable. And again, it's just a book that I think is going to continue to be more sought after long term over time. I think it's one of those books that if Spider-Man in the MCU does show up wearing the symbiote, Tom Holland Spider-Man, this book can catch fire just because of it being that first series that he's introduced wearing the symbiote suit. And don't twist what I just said. The start of a series with him wearing it. He was already wearing it in the other runs prior to this. But in that number one, we see him right there wearing that black suit. So I have a lot of hope for this book. I love this book. It's an amazing cover. I might send this book off to get graded this year because I know my book is in high grade. So I absolutely love this book. Obviously, you guys can tell I'm kind of biased towards it. Wow, but there it is. We got to number 41. We have 4 more videos in this list. I cannot wait. I just can't wait. So, again, before we go, though, I need to thank all my patrons, all of my wonderful patrons for continuing to support the channel. If you guys want to learn how you can become a patron of the channel, that link is below. It's only $3.99 a month. You get all kind of awesome perks, exclusives, early access to videos like these, patron only videos, and of course you get automatic entry into all my Patreon only contests. But a big shout out to all my current patrons. I'm gonna read your guys' name offs here: Keith, Jeremy, Sean, Michael, Comic Spunk, Jeff, Tricky, Philly Born, Alvin, One Shot Comics, Frankie Aquatics, Fletch Comics, Joshua, Pedro, Hernani, Peter, Jason, Joe, Larissa, Sagi, Dan, Jamie, Bishner, and Simon. Love you guys, man. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I'm beyond grateful. So thank you all. Thank you all for watching today. Let me know what you all thought of the books on this list. Which ones do you have? Which ones are on your radar that you guys are trying to hunt down? And what books do you think should have been on this list or might be on this list and we just haven't seen them yet? 40 more books to go, guys. I can't wait. Thank you all for watching. Be well, be kind to yourselves and others. And until next time.